All right. Well, welcome back to the Women's Health and Fertility Podcast, the show where we explore the many layers of women's health, healing, and whole body support through every season of life. Today's episode is a beautiful blend of personal transformation and professional passion. We're joined here by Kelly Rodas, a pediatric occupational therapist, mom to her 1.5-year-old daughter, Alana, and stepmom to 14-year-old Adea. She's also the founder of Feeling Yum, an online platform that helps moms and parents of picky eaters with gluten and dairy sensitivities bring more ease, connection, and joy to the table. But before she was helping other families thrive, Kelly was navigating one of the hardest chapters of her own life, facing a failed IVF transfer cycle and nearly 2 decades without a natural menstrual cycle. What followed was a deeply personal journey of healing as she embraced a holistic approach to fertility and autoimmune recovery that eventually led to a natural pregnancy and the birth of her beautiful daughter. In this conversation, we'll be diving into Kelly's fertility journey, how acupuncture, nutrition, and integrative care supported her healing, and how her approach to feeding therapy for sensory sensitive and neurodivergent kids, and why gluten and dairy free meals can still be fun, nourishing, and stress free. And also how to support yourself as a parent, whether you're at the table or whether you're on a fertility journey. Kelly brings so much heart and passion and wisdom and practical insight to today's episode. I know you're going to walk away after this episode feeling seen, supported, and maybe even a little bit inspired about what's possible. So thank you for joining us today. And Kelly, I'm so honored to have you on my podcast. And gosh, I was just thinking about how long we've known one another. I think it's been 2.5 years, maybe, or 2 years almost. And I just, I'm going to be biased here, but you are definitely one of our favorite patients at Revive Chi. And we've just really, it's been such a pleasure working with you over the years. And I can't tell you how excited I am about the launch of your new business. So I would love for you to tell us a little bit about your background and what got you started into being an occupational therapist in the pediatrics specialty area.
Oh, well, I'm so honored to be here, and you've been such an integral part to our journey with my path to motherhood. So, yeah, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, what got me started with OT? I had an aunt um, who was a teacher for the visually impaired, and she's the one who originally told me about OT. And then it was always kind of in the back of my mind because I always loved working with children, like babysitting or just doing those caretaker roles. I didn't have younger siblings myself, so I guess I always kind of seeked it out and craved it. And I went to school for more working with international nonprofits and things like that. But then I
Hmm.
kind of niched it back down to wanting to specialize and work with kids. And I ended up landing on OT. And I loved that it was a mix of mental health, but also really practical tips. Um, and my parents also have a medical background, so it's a nice blend. And you do learn about adults and children when you're going through OT school, but I tried to be open about it, but I really did really want to work with kids. And then when I was working in pediatrics, doing more sensory work, working on sensory processing with a lot of kids in clinic and in schools, I came across feeding, and I was working in a clinic and I was like, what is this? You can specialize in feeding? Because I love cooking and anything about food. So that's how I kind of found that niche. So I did kind of have to still train in sensory and learn all the foundations. But then I tried to just really niche down and work in the feeding space. And so now I've been working a lot with families of picky eaters with all kinds of backgrounds. Of course, there are a lot of children uh, that are part of the neurodivergent population. So we see a lot of autism, ADHD, but I also see it's just getting so common in general. Just like I have moms asking me for tips all the time. I think it's just our society, and we're such busy moms that, kids are exposed to so many kids' foods and snacks and things like that.
Right.
And I think
Right.
yeah, it starts to cause inflammation or these picky eating habits because kids are snacking all the time and then they're refusing real foods. They see fresh fruit or vegetable and they want nothing to do with it. And I find it so sad. So I'm like, okay, I've learned all these sensory strategies through my work as OT of how to approach textures. And so thinking about food in different ways. So I love to categorize foods in texture, flavor, temperature, not just, breakfast, lunch, dinner food. So I think it's just like rewiring how we're thinking about how we're serving these foods and then serve them in very low pressure, fun ways without the pressure of eating at first, just having our kids interact with the foods and, through sensory play and things like that. And then they eventually get, used to, um, yeah, interacting with the foods and pulling away those safety snack foods little by little. So there is a process,
Right.
there is a way for all these families. Yeah. So
I love
then
that. I love your blend of, occupational therapy, expertise plus nutrition and, your background and your passion in cooking. Like that's really, I think a lot of parents, even myself when my kids were younger, working full time, it was so hard. It was so stressful to even plan the meals or think about like, okay, what else can we cook now? So, and my children weren't that picky of eaters, a little bit, not much, but I can't even imagine having a child that had food sensitivities where you really had to accommodate for those things. And I can't tell you how many of my patients talk about that, where their kids might be failure to thrive, they're low on the weight scale or they're not growing accordingly, and how stressful it is for them, and how it creates this anxiety around food, meal prepping, and just, dinner time when it should be like a fun time to gather with your family and be able to connect after, a long day of work. So, I love your niche. I think it's amazing, and more parents need to know about your service. And I think just watching you two through the fertility process and seeing how you interact as a mom with Alana, like you are the most calm, cool, and collected mom I've ever seen. Even with a newborn, you were just always so like natural. It's obvious that you are just meant to be a mom and interact with young children. So it makes me so happy to see you with Alana.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's definitely been a beautiful journey and yeah, and becoming a mother is definitely a great I mean, I feel like you feel like you're helping parents before, but yeah, motherhood changes it and you're like, okay, now I really get it. And so it's been a fun journey to kind of even yeah, see how I can help now that I'm like in the thick of it myself and can
hmm
understand it more.
Well, you
So
have the hands-on experience too, where you can you have a little guinea
yeah,
pig. So
yeah,
you could try out recipes on Alana and, you can kind of say, well, this is tried and true. I've tried this snack or this meal and that's, what better way than to have somebody at home that you can try out your recipes on. So
yeah.
that's super
And
fun.
you're also right. A lot of it is, I mean, my main focus too is helping the mom. It's like not even focusing the kid on the child because you're right. It's the mom who's feeling so stressed and
Yeah,
feels all the weight of it. And not being
right.
able to feed or nourish your kid is like, if not, the most stressful thing a parent can really go through. It feels terrible if they're rejecting you and you take a lot of that guilt onto yourself. And yeah, I just want to let everyone know there is a process, there is a way. It's really helping, yeah, you find some easy tools that can make it less low pressure and easy ways. Like I'm talking about, I just try to do like one ingredient for the week and like how you can just serve this in simple ways, not even like cooking it necessarily, like maybe, just serving it in different ways. So maybe like, yeah, putting it to boil or roast or little tricks like that, or just, yeah, but there are ways to help and yeah.
And not make it so stressful for you. And
Mhm.
not to mention that when you're stressed, your children feel it too, because they're so sensitive to your energy. So I think like little ones just know they pick up on mommy's energy and emotions. So I think if we could be in a more peaceful, calm state, it just makes everything run smoother. Because moms, we're really the epicenter of the family, right? It's like, a happy mom, a smooth, happy life, right? So it's really important, I think, for moms to be in a good place, around everything, like whether it's her own self-care or, having the confidence to feed your kids and nourish them and support them too. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'd
That's
love
so
to
cool.
hear a little bit more, Kelly, about your fertility journey or your journey to motherhood. It's such an amazing story, and I have to say, when I thought about having you on as a guest, I just was really inspired because I had had another nutritionist on who is Cynthia Donovan, and she's the period nutritionist, and her story was really compelling. And I thought, gosh, I would love to have a patient testimonial as well because I feel like there's a lot of women that are misdiagnosed in the fertility process. So, if you don't mind, I would love for you to
Love
share
to.
your
Yeah.
story around your journey to motherhood.
Yes, I would love to because you were the first one who brought it, and I had Cynthia as my nutritionist, but you were the first one to bring that up to me. I always was, like you said, I never had my own natural period since I was like 16 or something like that. Like I've always had trouble, and I just was put on the pill. I try to go off it so many times. I've seen so many gynecologists, and I was really dreading when I wanted to have kids because I'm like, oh my God, I know it's going to be like, I just was like already in my head, like, this is going to be hard because
Hmm.
I was already told, like, you probably have PCOS. We don't know. Even if you have PCOS, it doesn't matter. You're going to be on the pill because you need to keep shedding that lining. But like, I had no root cause. I didn't know what was causing it. And you were the first one to bring up the amenorrhea, the what's it? Oh, hydro. Oh my gosh, what's it called?
It's a hypothalamic amenorrhea.
Yes, hypothalamic amenorrhea. And so I saw the nutritionist, Cynthia, and she had a support group, a membership around that. And just seeing the other women, like I just identified with it right away. It was like I was the archetype of it. So it's like
Hmm.
I thought I was being healthy and all these things. And we all loved working out. We all loved like, doing yoga, like thought we were doing all the right things, but really we weren't feeding our bodies enough was the main thing.
Hmm.
And it was really you really have to nourish your body to be able to have a baby. And really pack on. And also the stress was a huge one. So like bringing your stress levels way down, like just
Hmm.
stop working out. You just have to like sit at home and only go on walks. And I think then I would see women in the group get pregnant and I'm like, what? Like this is amazing. And only a month. Okay. And it was a combo too. So I was also
Sure.
seeing you and I was
Hmm.
getting we also did the herbs. We did the acupuncture treatments. And we went over every time I visited you, it was just going over, okay, what does that look like? Like if you just stop working out, like what do I do with my body? And like going through what foods should I be eating? You still want those nourishing foods, but not cutting out too many things. So yeah, it was a combination of like all these different things because I had gained weight in the past too, and I wouldn't get my period. So I know it
Mm.
wasn't like just eating more calories as well. It was really
Right.
a combination of everything. And yeah,
Sure.
all those energy pathways. And yeah, and I would love, I mean, I got my period a month later. I was like running down the stairs telling my husband, like, I got my period for the first time, like
We have to
naturally.
celebrate. Yay.
I've never seen someone so happy with a period.
I know, right?
I was like over the moon. And the next month, I didn't know it. I was getting married and I had Alana in my belly already. We didn't even know. We went on our honeymoon. I relaxed. I probably ate too many things, drank too many things I shouldn't have. But when we got back, I took a test and I was pregnant. So that was like the second month. I mean, I think I've seen you for a total of like 3 months,
Yes, I
something.
love your
Yeah.
story. Your
It was
case.
fast tracked. Yeah.
Yes,
And I
totally.
literally like, yeah, and I had seen other acupuncturists. I'd done other things. It was just like it was the right fit and you connected me to all the right people and your team too. I saw other acupuncturists on your team and they helped me like Leilani helped me with dream work and like just other ways to get my stress out of my body. When I came to you, I had a failed IVF um treatment. So like, I mean, I thought the egg probably took when I came to you, I was just in tears. I've never had anxiety or like depression, but I was just
Mm,
so broken down. I can't even imagine what it feels like to have a miscarriage or something like that. Because yeah, I was just crying all the time. I think the hormones like plummet.
for
And yeah,
sure.
I was in a bad place. So it was all, yeah, everything kind of,
Think everything is guided divinely.
yeah,
There's like a divine plan for all of us. And I just think that we met at the right time. And
exactly.
I'm so
Yeah.
grateful for that, Kelly. May
Yeah.
I ask you, what was your original diagnosis by your reproductive endocrinologist?
Yeah, so they would always tell me that I think PCOS was the thing that came up the most, but
Yeah.
I mean, Cynthia sees this all the time too. Like,
Hmm.
you get this diagnosis, but you don't really have any of the, like, I didn't have cysts on my ovaries. I didn't have weight gain, or like, I didn't have any of the
Traditional
signs. They just didn't
signs.
know what else to
Yeah.
like
Like
say.
elevated
And so
testosterone
I
and
never, yeah, I really, and when I was trying to go for IVF, of course, they're telling you like, you're not going to get pregnant on your own. Like even when I was like, I'm going to take a break, they were well, we're just going to tell you that, you're not just going to get pregnant on your own. Like it's just like that was in my head. And I think just
mm,
thinking that, like, um, also just mentally, like not thinking it was possible. Like I thought I'm just gonna have to have treatment, like my body.
hmm.
But oh, that's the other thing I wanted to say was like you really told me like, no, your body wants to have kids. Like your body wants to be fertile. We can get your, energy flowing in the right way. We can support your body, in all the right ways. So it can have that baby. And so I think, yeah, it was all just like knowing that, like, yes, your body does want to. It can do it. Yeah.
Yes, for
So,
sure. And our
yeah.
body has its own inherent self-healing mechanism within us. It's like
Yeah.
this system of being able to bring us back to homeostasis and recalibrate.
Yeah.
And so sometimes, things are thrown off balance for a little while. So it might take a little more time. But in your case, boy, yours was a quick surprise. I mean,
It
a
was.
pleasant surprise. Because I
Yeah.
remember thinking too, gosh, it's been a while since Kelly's had a natural menstrual cycle. So I'm like, that was my first priority was to
Yeah.
get you to cycle again and to get the HPO access, which I know we talked about in the beginning, the hypothalamus, pituitary, and ovarian access is such an important, process to make sure everything's communicating properly and the feedback loop, between, these are basically the hormone centers in your brain that trigger your ovaries to produce estrogen and progesterone and luteinizing hormone to allow you to have a regular menstrual cycle. But with hypothalamic amenorrhea, there's like this disconnect.
Mhm.
And for some reason, the signals aren't like being picked up properly by your ovaries. So then, you're not ovulating on a regular basis and you're not having a period. So in my brain, I kept thinking, I got to get that HPO connection again going. And so I think acupuncture does a phenomenal job of it. But the fact that you were so open to trying so many different things and receive, like, I think that was the biggest thing, Kelly, was you were just like, yes, I'm open to trying anything. And when you have that mindset, I think your body kind of surrenders into the process and it makes it so much easier for your body to get back into balance. So
Yes.
thank
So
you for
true.
being that patient that was open
Yeah.
and willing.
Unfortunately, it sometimes you just keep hitting a wall, and it's like in those hard times, right? Like, and I was getting married and going on a honeymoon, so I was just like, you know what? I'm taking a break.
Yeah.
I don't be stressed for my wedding, and so I just was like, We'll get back to it after." But little did I know, like all I really needed to do was let go and surrender. So, but yeah, sometimes you have to hit that hard place before you get there. But,
Yes. Well, I think you turned around really quickly, Kelly, which is amazing. So was there anything else that you would say helped you along this journey to conceiving Alana? Anything else
Yeah, I
that,
think I mentioned most of the things, but I also want to say, yeah, then I had a really smooth pregnancy. So, I mean, everything went really well. And I just continued to go for the treatment, acupuncture and everything like that. And anything you said, I was like, just give me all the people and make sure this goes smoothly as possible. And yeah, I had a natural birth and everything. I mean, everything, it was so wonderful. And I'm so thankful. And um, yeah, and I think just going through that whole journey, um, learning the how powerful the mindset is, that's kind of what moved me into this post, trying to work for myself and
Hmm.
share what I've learned with others. I think like just really, I think your mindset is just an ever evolving process. So I just really try to like, now I'm trying to listen to like all the new things to open me to, yeah, opening my own practice and my own business and helping moms and following like what I've learned and how I can share it with others. And yeah, I think that it just kind of taught me the power of mindsets, and I'm kind of using it in a different way. And also with Cynthia's course, like I loved her membership. I saw how amazing that was. So now I'm really excited because I'm going to be opening my own membership. And I just really want to
How
try to
exciting.
connect moms. Yeah, it's like, I mean, she connected all these, these women who wanted to be moms, right? But now it's like, okay, now I know all these people are going through picky eating and having all these food sensitivities, and it's like that extra layer of difficulty. And if we could just kind of, get together, kind of learn the process together. And but I think the community aspect is great. And so, once you're in the membership, you can be in it for however long you need, and other moms will be there to support you. So I'm trying to build that out. Yeah.
Amazing.
And
Now,
yeah,
this is a virtual platform, correct?
it's a
So
virtual
this would
platform.
be women
Mhm.
from like all over the country.
Yeah, whoever wants to join. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, can I ask, is there a certain time or an ideal time for a parent to join in
For
terms of like the age
yeah.
of the child, I guess?
Oh, the age, yeah. I always
Hmm.
say the earlier, the better. The earlier we can
Hmm.
catch you. I work mostly in early intervention, so a lot of those babies you said like failure to thrive, or they were born prematurely, or things like this, and they're showing those picky eating signs, the earlier the better, because then they can build those nice habits, and it's really your habits, right? Like how you're serving the child and the structure you're doing it in, and getting in those habits of making these like easy, meals at home, or like little things like that. So I think the easier we can kind of integrate all that, the better. So if you think they're being a little extra picky, you can always DM me, I'm not feeling yum, or if you think you need help and things like that. Um, but I also want to say it's never too late, it's like it's kind of like that saying, like the best time was yesterday, but the next best time is today. So
Yes.
always help. But yeah, I think like don't like I love working with starting with solids around 6 months, and like trying
Hmm.
to, especially like if you had another child, you had a child who had pick eating, and then you're having another one, you're like, oh my gosh, I want to go through this again. So it's like,
Right,
yeah,
right.
there can be those ones who just want to like prevent it. And then there's also a lot of people going through it. And then in the membership, as it grows, I'm just doing like a founding members right now. But as it grows, I really want to try to um, like have specific recipes or things, or the process will go along with you, like wherever you're at. And I'll try to connect, all those moms to like wherever they are in the journey. Because, if you have like a 5, 6, 7 year old, it's going to be different than a
Right,
toddler
right.
versus like a baby. So
Hmm.
eventually I'll try to kind of like connect those.
So have like some subgroups within the
Yeah,
member.
or it's just like I have an onboarding piece, and so yeah, the content will already kind of cater to you as you kind of answer those questions, and then there's like a directory so you can like, find people that maybe are in your area or you have the same age
That's
group. Like,
amazing. I
yeah,
love
so as
that.
it grows, it will kind of go like that. But um
Okay.
yeah, and I also have like we can share all the links directly with you,
Sure,
but
for sure. I will
on
add it
my
in the
like
show notes.
yeah, my profile and stuff like that. I have, you can book like a free call for 15 minutes. We can kind of see if it's a good fit. And yeah, I'm doing a weekly newsletter with different food tips. So just one food a week, but like different ways we can serve it. So yeah, those are my offerings. And yeah, it's I don't know if you have
That's
any other
so amazing. That's
questions.
awesome. I love the recipes. I love the connection and the community that you're building. And may I ask, as far as this program, I would think that some of it is like asynchronous and then some of it is live. How
Yeah.
often are the live sessions?
Yeah, so how the membership works is the asynchronous is there's a path. So there's like a path I want to take you on to go through that transformation. And so there's a set of 5 different, like, kind of like a little course you can go through, just
Hmm.
where you are. And then every week there's a weekly deliverable. And so those will kind of change, but one will be a Q&A, one will be like a little mini live training, like challenge. I mean, one is a training and then one will be like a mini challenge for the week. So we'll have different things and there's like a community that kind of looks like Facebook or whatever, but it's like within the
Yeah,
membership. So like,
nice.
moms kind of communicate on there. So yeah, you don't want to overwhelm. So everything is bite
Sure.
size and mini, but there is 2 components. So you can kind of go on your own, learning the lessons, and then we'll kind of, yeah, check in weekly with little different trainings and things like that.
Nice. And
Yeah.
what if somebody just wants to work with you directly and not join the membership? Is that an option?
Yes, I have that as well. So in the community, I'm in Southern Orange County where you are. So I do some little workshops and live things at the Mothering Club right now. And
Nice.
I can see patients one-on-one virtually or in home visits. So I do that as well. And
Wonderful.
yeah, I'm trying to get contracted with the regional center too. So you can kind of, if you need insurance, you can go through them as well.
Okay, for the
Um,
home visits.
yeah, for the home visits. But yeah, we can also do that one-to-one. And
That's such a
then,
wonderful service. I
yeah,
would imagine
it's just
for like
a blend.
the young ones, yes, being able to come and to
Yeah, I
observe
love
the
that as
bleeding.
well.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love the in-person, and that's what really helps me. The membership's more for like if you need that, it's cheaper, of course, and it's like can reach more people, but
Sure,
I really learn from the moms, yeah, working in person. And I love, yeah, anytime I can do like a live workshop or work one-to-one, and that's where I really know like what is everyone struggling with and like
right,
yeah,
right. It's a
what's
good way to pull to
yeah.
what like the community needs.
Yeah, like what is really
Mm.
happening. But I
Mhm.
do say, like, I want to be the guide or the coach though, because it's really the parent. And that's the kind of the problem I saw in therapy is like if you work at a clinic, like they drop, sometimes they just drop the kid off or whatever and
Sure,
see them for an hour, or you work with the parent, but it's literally like an hour a week. And so
right,
I
right.
find it so limiting. So I also have like combo packages too, where, you could do the membership and, lot like if you live close by, or we could do virtual sessions. Like there's that option as well. So I just think there needs to be more carryover because it's like you're the one that needs to be trained. You're the one that's going to be doing all of this. Like I can kind of teach you the tricks and things like
Sure.
that. But it's
So it's
really
kind of
like,
more of an empowerment program than
yeah,
a
I just
here,
want
let me do all the things for you.
yeah.
Right.
And therapy is moving in that direction. I know, like in
Nice.
early intervention, we're a lot of taught to be the coaches more and more like even, we used to like bring our bag of therapy things and now they're really like advising us like, no, you know what? It's like the parent, like when the
Mhm.
parent sees the kid walk because of what they did or things like that, that's like they light up, it's like it's the
Right,
parent who
right.
needs to be doing it, not us. We're not like
Totally.
magicians, but we can teach you what we're doing, kind of like look at what you're doing and give you tips. So
Sure. The
yeah, that's
tools
the way
and
I
the
like
tips. Yeah,
to approach
that's
it.
super cool.
Yeah.
Where is the Mothering Club, by the way?
Yeah. So that's in San Juan Capistrano. Um, yeah, I'd have to look up the address, but San Juan's
And oh, no
home.
problem. I will make sure
Yeah.
I list it. Do you have an event coming up at the
I know I
club?
was just there like a week ago. I don't. We were brainstorming some workshop ideas. And then I go there as a client myself too. So I bring Alana there. On Fridays they have open play and coffee, so you can just come by then. And I like to kind of pop in then. But yeah, I've been brainstorming workshops to do either like little cooking strategies or some like sensory play, things like that. Yeah, we're just kind of figuring out, they just reopened, so we're kind of like figuring out what would be a good fit. But I did do, there's different themes every week, and so we just had a
Mhm.
food theme the other week. So I visited the play groups that week, and we kind of went over strategies. So
Nice.
kind of a visiting guest, but we're definitely trying to plan some workshops too.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
So, a question for you. This is kind of more clinical, but I was wondering about it as we were talking about food sensitivities and, some of the food intolerances too that are more common in neurodivergent children. So, out of the parents that you've seen with children with food sensitivities and some of the picky eating habits, how many of them would you say have like had fertility struggles? I'm just curious, like what's the connection there, if at all, if you've seen it, or if there's
Yeah,
any anecdotal
interesting.
data that you've
Yeah,
noticed.
interesting thought. Let me, I mean, I do see, I
And I
do
guess
see
where
a
I'm
lot of
going
kids
with this
that
is that,
were, I
yeah,
don't know,
it's such a stressful process to go through
you're right.
IVF and ART treatments. And I'm just wondering, like those poor moms, they're coming off of these cycles that are pretty stressful and the ups and downs of IVF. And then, hopefully their pregnancies are a little bit smoother than the IVF process. But then I'm just wondering, like carrying into, their pregnancy and their postpartum, how that might be connected or if at all.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that as much, but I do see a lot of patients. I mean, it's kind of sad because if you do have IVF, you do have a higher chance of delivering early or things
Mm, right.
like that. So I have seen in I mean, I do see a lot of moms that have had treatments and things when
Hmm.
they like that, those are the ones that had, so that is happening. I'm trying to think what other, besides IVF, if I've seen other difficulties with their fertility journey.
Or even just like women that maybe carry a little more stress and anxiety, even those folks, how is that impacting,
Um,
the process for their babies, development in terms of eating habits and
yeah, I would
yeah.
say so. There are, so picky eating does happen naturally, right? Like our kids are going to get pickier as a toddler, but the risks go up, like when it becomes more extreme, it's usually because the kid is dealing with maybe some underlying stress or anxiety, some
Mm,
sensory, um, they have some sensory processing difficulties, or another main reason is like oral motor, they're having something a little more structurally going on. But what I wanted to touch on was the anxiousness part, because a lot of times
hmm.
it's like subconscious, but when I'm kind of digging deeper into the eval, like, wait, how did your pregnancy go?
Hmm.
What happened when the baby was born? How did
Right,
breastfeeding go? And
right.
a lot of times the the child, they didn't have trouble starting solids per se, but like there was some difficulties when you kind of dig back deeper. So
Hmm.
maybe, um, yeah, they had, trouble latching, or maybe they had a tongue tie, maybe they had um, they could have even had like, breathing problems. So they had, like NG tube or different
Right,
things
right.
going
That
on. And
makes
so it's like they
sense.
had these negative associations with
Mhm.
feedings, and then it
Oh,
carries over. Yeah, it's really,
sure.
but I think also, like, if the mom was, it's a duo, right? When you're feeding your child. So if the mom was stressed and, stress feeding the kid, maybe she was doing like exercise, oral motor exercises and all these different things. Like, so yeah, I think it's definitely a duo in the beginning and in utero too. So if there is stress going on, um, and also even like what the mom eats during pregnancy can affect
Hmm.
what flavors the baby was initially introduced to. It doesn't mean they won't
Interesting.
like those flavors. Yeah, but I find that really interesting too. So like maybe the mom was really sick. And so it's like good to dig into all this in the eval, because like if the mom was sick during pregnancy, then the kid might not be introduced to those flavors or fluids. So it might take them a little more time to be, yeah, they didn't have that in the fluids and things that they were exposed to. So yeah, it's really interesting. So yeah,
That's
definitely starts probably like yeah, in the
Mm.
fertility. I need to like add that into my eval. Like, wait, how does
Yeah, I was
fertility
just
start?
curious,
I'm gonna
as a
add that in.
fertility
I usually ask
person,
about
specialist, I'm
pregnancy.
like
You're right.
thinking
I need
all
to
the
go
things.
back further.
Yeah. Well,
It's
and
true.
the other question I had for you was, or just comment really, was I
Mhm.
would imagine that parents actually, as a side benefit, are eating healthier too, right? Because they're very conscious about what they're shopping for. And usually, if you're meal prepping for your kid, you're probably eating similarly or maybe the same foods.
Yeah, so that's why I focus on the parent or the mom because
Mhm.
it's so true. It's like I want the child to be eating what you're eating. I want you guys to, you don't have time. A lot of parents think like, oh, I need to do these 3 meals for the kid and then
Oh
2 snacks.
gosh,
And it's like,
yes.
and they get caught up in that with the first child. Usually by the second kid, they're like, oh, I just have to throw it together. But by like, it's like, no, you don't need that all that stress. Like they can eat what's on your plate. I'm not like
Yeah.
pro baby led weaning or not, like just you can do purees and you can eat purees with them if that's how you want to
Hmm.
start out.
Hmm.
But I think it's just like, I love the baby led weaning in that aspect where it's like, no, they don't need kid food. They don't need puffs. They don't need anything. Like they can eat what's on your plate. And I can tell you, how to change that texture or maybe like, reduce the salt or whatever you're cooking and you can eat together. So it's also like changing your habits too, because if you are eating, a lot of processed foods and things, maybe this is the time, maybe it's just making one new thing a week, gradually. So it's like you don't have
Yes.
to change everything overnight, but
Right.
all
Right.
small steps will add up. So like if you're like learning how to make your own muffins or whatever it is like that week, and then, then you can start making that, once you do it a few times, it can become part of your routine. Then let's try something else. And the more you're kind of eating those foods, because they're going to want to eat what you're modeling.
That's
So
so
it's kind
true.
of like you
They're
have to
never
do
interested
better.
in their own food.
Yeah.
They will always want what everybody else. It's a FOMO
Yeah.
thing. It starts at a very
Yeah.
young age, right?
It's very social too. So, you want to be eating with them. And so, yeah, it's, yeah, you're connected with your kid. So,
For
yeah,
sure. Yes,
eating
I love that.
together.
Yeah,
But
and I
it's an
was just thinking,
opportunity.
I'm sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead, Kelly.
I was just gonna say, yeah, think of it as a fun opportunity. Things don't have to be complicated. You can, learn little steps to make things fresh that aren't, so hard. But yeah, just thinking of a lot of fresh fruits, just how to prep veggies really simply. And I think it's just learning a few of those. Like, I also love to teach, like, how do you make a good broth or like soup? Like
Mm,
that can sustain you
that
all week.
sounds
And
yum.
yeah, and it's
Yeah,
great for mom postpartum. It's great for
totally.
baby's gut. So it's kind of just learning like a few foundational things, and then you can
Mm.
swap what veggies, what meat, whatever you're putting in there. But I think just learning, yeah, a few foundational things will really help you all as a family.
Well, this sounds like such a comprehensive program because as a side benefit, as a parent, you're also learning about nutrition, diet, how to meal prep.
Yeah,
That can,
exactly.
be incorporated, like you said, for everybody, for the whole family. And
Yeah,
so everyone wins. Everyone
yeah. Because
hopefully will have,
yeah.
yeah, less
'Cause I'm passionate about
inflammation.
food and all this stuff, but I know most moms that are like, I do not like cooking. I do not enjoy it. I know I have to do it. So I'm like,
Mm,
I get it. I'll like make it very
yeah.
simple and quick as possible. But yeah, there are little ways and we can all learn together and yeah, it can be fun.
It sounds like it. Well, I
Yeah.
just have a few more questions, Kelly. Thank you for sharing all this information. What is your approach to helping parents? Because you did mention that, a lot of your children that you're working with may have had some medical interventions or medical challenges. So I was just curious how you help parents juggle these challenges and special needs, or maybe even some of the trauma that they've been through with paired with the mealtime stress and the feeding stress.
Yeah. Good question. I think it's just finding the little wins or little ways. I mean, it depends what you're targeting. Like a lot of times, um, it can be, yeah, say they're having trouble chewing or something like that because, or they're like pocketing the food or something. I mean, I'm trying to think because helping the mom as well, you're saying.
Yeah,
But
just the whole family, really, because I think it
that's-
impacts everybody when you've had medical issues, right? Yeah,
yeah,
it's really kind of like a whole family support for a child that has special needs or has had, some traumatic medical interventions too. So I was just curious, like I'm sure that's something you see a lot and you're navigating and helping parents with that too.
yeah. I I mean, I think it's coming like just learning compassion, I think is a big thing too, like for
Hmm.
yourself.
Hmm.
And like obviously for your little one too, but I think there's a lot of like guilt we take on and things like that. Like, why is it happening to me? What did I do something wrong? And just
Yes.
knowing like, uh, no, like you didn't do anything wrong.
Mhm.
It's nothing. I think that's why it's kind of interesting to dig into. A lot of times we're seeing the symptom, right? And so it's like, okay, why is this happening? And like backing up and like, what is the root causes? And then you kind of learning like, oh, that wasn't because of me, you know,
Right.
they're maybe they have this like sensory, like they've really like, especially kids that were in the NICU or something like maybe they have really bad sensory aversions and you didn't even notice that. Or I was trying
Sure.
to like think about like the food pack different, like maybe there was oral motor difficulties and you didn't even know. And I think like once you kind of learn those causes, like as a family, like why the things are happening, um, you can kind of take a step back. And also saying like you know, once you kind of diagnose things too, it's like, oh, there's a whole bunch of other parents going through this too, and trying to connect them. I know you can feel really alone as well when
Hmm.
you feel like all the other kids are going to a birthday party and eating whatever,
Mm,
and you're
right.
like, why isn't mine? And so, but there are so many other parents going through the same thing as you. So I think that's another big thing is just realizing that you're not alone and trying to connect those moms in different ways too. And like kind of like you did with me, like there's a whole community, like we know like we have a great perinatal community here in Orange County, and
Mhm.
it's like, wait, like we can connect you to this specialist or this person, and they all know different moms, and there's like different mom groups. Like my lactation consultant did a great like sleep and lactation virtual group every week, or a lot of like the mom groups here have like feeding support for, you know,
Nice.
lactation or
Right.
things like that. But yeah, once
Yeah.
you kind of enter, you know, you get some help, you like accept it, like acknowledge, like, you know, I do need some outside help and acknowledging
Mhm.
that, then yeah, I think you can build like there's a lot other people that can support you and you
For
don't
sure.
feel
Yeah.
alone. Yeah.
Well, what type of advice or any like words of wisdom for parents that are struggling with feeding their kids?
Sure. Yeah, I like to say my main thing is to make it it's hard because it feels stressful, but make it happy, make it feel good. You know, just like sometimes you just need to take like back off and be like, okay, I'm not going to pressure them. You want meals to be happy. So it's like you kind of just need to let them. I like to say you're in control of, you know, what they're what you're going to serve them and when you're going to serve them and where, like, you know, you're offering the food, but you can't control what they're going to do, like how much they're going to eat. Like you did all you can do, you know, you served it, it's there, and then you just need to kind of like look away. Sometimes when you take the pressure off, they'll eat spontaneously, or maybe they won't eat at all, and that's okay. Like, you know, you're going to serve again really soon in like 2 hours. And
Right.
so I think it's just really taking that pressure off yourself. Like you can't control like what they're going to eat. And you just have to tell yourself you're doing the best you can, you're offering, you're doing what you can, and try to make it like if it's not joyful and fun, like everyone's going to hate mealtime and no one's going to eat. So
Yes.
yeah,
Right.
so I don't know.
That's
I hope
good
that helps,
advice.
but
No, that's really good advice. It's
yeah,
simple and it seems like it would be, common sense. But I think when you're in the thick of
yeah,
of dealing with feeding your child.
Yeah. Oh,
not
you
eating.
will do anything. You're like, can I
Yes, and
bring
everyone's
on?
telling
Can
you,
I
yeah, your
like
child's
force
losing
it?
weight, they're not growing. And so you're
So
just on this
scary.
whole other
Yeah.
level of stress. But
Yeah.
being able to like simplify and not be so hard on yourself is so important.
Yeah. I know that sometimes kids hardly eat for like 3 days. It's normal. And if they're not, if it's like really extreme, get help, like that.
Mm,
If you really feel
right.
like this is not normal, like tell your pediatrician, get a feeding, eval. It doesn't mean you
Yes.
need feeding therapy, but at least like have someone
At least get the
reach out.
evaluation.
Yeah. And we
Yeah.
can tell you, like, maybe you just need some tips, or maybe, you can qualify for a service. I'll just give you some guidance. So,
Hmm.
yeah, if you feel like they're really refusing, because, but anyways.
Yeah, that's great advice. And what about for the moms that are on their fertility journey? Any advice for those women?
Go see Dr. Yang.
Yeah, I promise I did not ask her to say that, but thank you.
I know. That's what I
Anything else
tell
in your
people, but
personal experience? Well,
yeah, but
thank
you do
you.
offer herbs online if they're not in the area.
Yes,
You do
that's
have
true.
some good support. So there's that. And yeah, if you can't reach, but yeah, acupuncture was such a big part of my journey. So I'm like, if maybe reach out to you if you can't see you personally, maybe there's someone in your area that or you could try to connect them with,
Mhm.
like other but yeah, I really think that holistic approach to medicine, like I was just hitting a wall seeing OB after OB, and they're doing the best they can, right, with their knowledge, but I think we really need to like zoom out and find someone who, I mean, you spent like hours with me the first, like my husband was like, "Where are you?" Like I'm like, "Okay,
I
just like,
remember that.
you just really
Right.
listen."
He was calling you like, "Are we gonna have dinner together?"
I was like, you just really listen to my whole story. And I mean, yeah, I'm like, if you can find someone like that who just really looks at everything as a whole and can kind of treat you in a more holistic way. Yeah, I know it's hard to find, but
Those resources are out there
yeah.
for
So yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Definitely. There's
you can
always a
ask for
community, I think,
someone.
for
Yeah,
women. You just
yeah,
sometimes you might have to dig a
yeah,
little deeper.
yeah,
But I know for my patients that have friends that are out of state or not in the area, there's great websites and resource lists like aborum.org. I'm just going to plug this. This is the American Board
sure.
of Oriental Reproductive Medicine, and I'm a fellow that's part of that group. And all of the acupuncturists that belong to Aborum, we have extra training and fellowship in fertility and reproductive medicine. So it's a great way to find an acupuncturist. And because
Yeah.
the search function in their website is by like zip code, by city. So even if you're not looking for a fertility acupuncturist, but you're looking for someone that specializes in women's health, most of these folks are doing the whole all stages of life for a woman. So that's where I usually send my out of state patient, or like when my patients ask me, like my friend is in New York or my friend is in Washington, and they
Yeah.
really really need a good acupuncturist.
Mm,
So there's great directories and stuff like that. So, and I'm
yeah.
sure that's the case for OTs too. And but I think having this membership program gives people so much access to resources, recipes, and tips. And Kelly, you make it all sound so like easy and doable. So I'm really, really excited about your membership program, which is being launched in, did you say in a month?
Beginning of August, yeah.
Ah, okay. All right. That's
Soon.
really exciting. And I'll make sure to include all of your information so people can sign up for your newsletter and get in touch with you and maybe even schedule a discovery call with you as well.
Yes,
So,
thanks. Yeah,
is there
I will
anything
do
else,
that.
Kelly, that you wanted to share with us?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me. And yeah, that's a great way to start. I love that there's that resource. And then I would say, it's kind of like, I don't know, right now I'm trying to like visit preschools and try to get the feeling of them or whatever. But like, it's like, yeah, go see them and see how it feels. And if you really feel like they're really seeing you and hearing you, then you're in a good place. So I
Yes.
think that's a great place to start. And don't be afraid to like, try, do that founding, do that. It's a lot. And I also want to say like, it is usually out of pocket and things like that, but I was telling the Dr. Yang, I was like, "Why didn't I spend my money on more treatments?" Because like, if you do IVF or something else, believe me, you're gonna spend way more money. So,
Right.
sometimes you feel like it's a little out of pocket, like, "Why isn't my insurance," or whatever with
Hmm.
acupuncture, these holistic treatments, but you'll save in the long run for sure, and it's such a good investment, and yeah, and I think if they're listening to this, they're probably, kind of open to all
Yes.
those
Thank you
things.
for sharing that, Kelly. It is true, and I do know that it's a lot when you're going through IVF. But I always tell patients like our goal is to get you through, if you're in a cycle, to
Mhm.
have like the least amount of treatments possible and to get
Yeah.
the most positive outcomes possible, whether it's like, more embryos, healthy embryos in
Yeah,
a
I
retrieval
definitely would recommend
cycle.
too, if you're going for treatments, like,
Yeah.
with acupuncture, because then you want it to be as successful as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And if you're trying naturally, of course, like please, if
yeah.
you have done your first workup and you're not sure if you're ready to go down the route of ART, I think
Mhm,
Chinese medicine and acupuncture or natural medicine, naturopathic medicine, functional medicine is a
mhm.
really great first start before you dive in into that
For
ART
sure.
world because it definitely is. I call it a bullet train, right? It's like you jump on that ART bullet train, and boy, it's really tough to
Yeah,
jump off
yeah,
because you feel pressured, and it's self-imposed pressure a lot of times too, right? Like, what's the next treatment or what's the next medication I'm going to try, or the
yeah.
next test, or
Once
the
you're in
next,
it. Yeah,
and I get it that some people need those tests too, and we're so grateful and thankful that the technology is there. And sometimes IVF is the only option for
of
patients.
course. Yeah, and it's
So,
great. I mean, I've met so many families who've had babies through that. So yeah, I would just say it's just, yeah, you have to find what's right for you, but if you can have that as much support as you can, that's kind of guiding you through it, that'll be best.
yes. Thank you
Yeah,
again, Kelly, for all your time and
you.
just taking the time to let me interview you and sharing all of your knowledge and wisdom. And it's so cool to hear more about, occupational therapy and your expertise and your niche around feeding and children. And I just, I can't wait for your membership to launch. So thanks again, Kelly. All
Yeah,
right.
thank you so much for having me. I will see you soon.
Okay, sounds great.